Dang, dang, dang. Yesterday say that I rap a lot farther, the sun like it's less a lot more like a night. I used to smoking the gas a lot, I would just read.
So right now I'm just working on the second part of the collection, which is a crop denim jacket and the barrel jeans, which I'll be designing later or working on the design later. But right now I just want to speak about the collection. The collection name is The Beauty Behind Perfection. And it's kind of something I had to go through earlier in the year when I was trying to chase perfection, or I was just trying to be perfect in everything that I did do. And I realized that if there was something I fell short in or didn't do as best as I could do, I just realized it had like a massive effect on how I went about with the day, or it just really ruined the day. And I just learned that, well, in terms of faith, where I always thought that if you choose a life of faith or choose a spiritual life, that you have to be perfect in a way or in a sense. And so when I used to see people live that life and then maybe I wouldn't say I see them slip up or see them do something that wasn't like a representation of that faith, I was just it ended up messing me up because in my mind I was like, oh no, you have to be perfect. You can't, like, for example, if you go to church, you have to live like a perfect life, or if you choose to tell, or yeah, if you tell people you live a life of faith, you have to live this perfect life with no mistakes or anything. I just realized that you don't have to be perfect in everything that you do, or at church especially. One of the few times I just spoke about how God calls all of us for to carry out a certain purpose. And I think that when I realized that you don't have to be perfect to try to do good in the world. Most people think that, okay, I know I thought it, I don't know how many people do think it, but they think that once you choose a life of faith, you can live this perfect life with no mistakes. And there are many times that I do fall short. That's something I won't lie about. That's something I won't even lie and say I'm perfect or what. But there are times that I do fall short. I think there's more of an like art channel because I've mostly been doing this lately. The other parts like I think the other parts are more like boring in terms of speaking to the manufacturers and taking screenshots. Like most people don't honestly that. But anyways, about the collection, um, I just realized that you don't, when God calls you, He doesn't call a perfect version of you or the version you think in your head that I have to have everything figured out, I have to know everything, like I don't make mistakes. And the coolest people are the ones that admit that they do mistakes and able they do make mistakes. That's mad nervous. They do make mistakes and they just try to learn from it. And that's like the like nice thing about life, I guess. And well, in terms of faith, that's the nice thing about faith, knowing that despite all our imperfections, we're still called to carry out our purpose in life. So yeah, that was basically the gist of the collection, the music behind perfection, just to show people that you don't have to really be perfect. You don't have to have everything figured out. And like most of us, in fact, all of us aren't really perfect. As much as I think that was the main problem I had, because you see online and people portray like the perfect lifestyle. They show one side of it, whereas the other side where there are some hard times they deal with this, they make it seem like it doesn't affect them, but it really does have a big effect on people. So throughout all of this, and the biggest part of this collection, I just realized how much trying to live a perfect life, trying to portray that you live a perfect life, really does end up trying to destroy you in the long run. Because I won't lie, in my mind, I was only gonna document this once I had everything figured out, and once everything was done, and I just realized that it really was not gonna help. Not that it wasn't gonna help, but more like how to explain it. I just wanted to show everyone the finished product. That was the whole thing in my mind. show everyone once everything's figured out and once everything's perfect. And honestly, that's what I was going to do until after a while I was just like, why am I trying to like portray this image? I used to like crash out and complain when people online try to convey that like image that everything's perfect, everything's like figured out, but I was going to do the same exact same thing. I was like, let me just document something small, especially while I'm working, because I think out of everything, I actually enjoy designing the most. Designing, because you're just gonna keep getting better and better over time. There's no like end goal to it. I just want to keep getting better because I'm still working on this one. I already have an idea in my head what it looks like, but I'm just gonna make a few changes because it's similar to. It's actually the same as the dungaree design. I'm just making a few changes. I don't think I'm gonna leave it distressed as much, but in terms of dungaree, I won't lie. I'll probably put the design somewhere up. The first design I ever made, I thought I cooked with it. In my head, it looked nice. And then after a while, when I thought about it, I was like, I don't want to mix two different materials in one at the same time. Like, I also don't want to have a whole good piece and then at the bottom leave one thing. Probably because also over time, I just had a lot to think about the design because it's like everyone can make that piece. I'm like, what can I do differently about it or just differently about the pieces I make? Then after a while, I was like, maybe I can make a few changes. So it took, I was just like messing around with different designs in my head. And then one day I was just walking and I saw this, well, it was a dress on the washing line. And obviously in my head I'm like, oh, that's a cool piece. So obviously I was like, okay, I can't really like now go take a picture of the dress because then if the camera or the security saw it, I would have had a hard time trying to explain I'm looking for inspiration for a piece and I saw the design of the denim dress. So anyways, I just went to Pinterest. I saw a few designs there and it was a mixture of designs that caught my eye. So I'm like, this is actually nice. So I used that as inspiration in a way for all the designs for this collection. And then in terms of pieces, the pieces are just based on like clothes, well, denim clothes that I've wanted. I think that's the most thing with clothing brand. When people start a clothing brand, they make pieces. They make pieces that they would like to wear, or pieces they would have wanted to wear, but they couldn't get it at that time. And the improvements I've made from the first designs, because yeah, even though it seemed like I could, I don't know, maybe I did just overthink it, or just over time I started questioning the design, but I'm happy with this new one, with the new ones that I am making. I'm still working on the second part of the collection. So the first piece is a dungaree and a thermal, and I'm working on the second part of the collection, which is the crop jacket and the barrel jeans. I know this image here looks like the white leg jeans because it is. I know the difference between the two. It was just the first gene like mock-up that I saw. So I'm like, I know what the barrel genes look like in my head. So that's what I'm working. That's what I'm working with now. I think if you're already at this point, you've decided if you're going pre-made or pre-order. Most clothing brands do pre-order, but I wanted to go with pre-made. Not because I just want it to be different or anything. It's just pre-made sounds like the one that makes the most sense because like even though it's more costly to have and you also don't know if people are gonna buy all of your pieces and stuff. But with pre-order, the only flop is so some manufacturers you hit them up and they'll explain that it'll take your turnaround time is like 4 weeks. So then you tell people, okay, yeah, 4 weeks, you do all your marketing, you do everything, orders come in. And then like last minute a manufacturer can be like, hey, I'm gonna need some more time. So now people have already waited a whole month to get a piece, And now you have to tell them, yeah, even though you waited the whole month and paid for everything, you have to wait a bit longer. So yeah, I just didn't want that. And I also know that you just have to be at peace with knowing that there's a lot that you can't control with it, but I don't want to say there's a little I want to have control over, but if I just want to be able to keep my word basically. So by doing pre-made, as long as everything's there, the only thing that will go wrong is shipping. But other than that, yeah, I have to lock in just to finish this last part because I feel like I've been doodling on this. So yeah, as I was saying before, I'll just be about like the pros and cons of having pre-made or pre-order. Oh, okay, I said it right. Pre-made or pre-order. I have the things, what's it called? I have the topics I'm speaking about written down, not actual like script, but like just topics so I don't go off thing and just start like yapping. So yeah, I was just speaking about pre-made makes more sense, except that you just need a lot more capital and like a not guarantee, but like a rough estimate of how many people will buy before you just go order and then you just have stock sitting there. I think pre-made is what most like of the big brands do, not the online brands, like actual in-store brands. So if you wanted to go that route of having a like a business one day, like your brand as a full-on business, then you'd probably have to go the pre-order way. But if you want to stick online, pre pre you have to go the pre-made way. But if you want to stick online, the pre-order way. Damn it, I messed up. Online pre-order business pre-made. Yes. Also starting off, so when I started off, I didn't really, in fact, I didn't know anything. I won't lie. I just watched one video and the dude spoke about cotton teas. So yeah, I was like, oh, so I guess if you want to make something that's mostly of cotton, you just go 100% cotton. So what I did was I just went online really. What I did was I just looked at some of my favorite brands and the pieces that I would have liked to have but I want to make instead. And then I just went online to learn because honestly speaking I didn't know anything about size charts. Like I knew about them, but now when you're starting off you have to have your own size charts. And then I just took their size charts, but then I'm playing around with, for example, either length or the fit of the garments to the way I want it really. So that was in terms of size chart and also in terms of like, for example, material composition. Because when you speak to these manufacturers, they have to know these things. Because if you don't, and you're just like, hey, I just like this piece made, they can do whatever they like, and then the thing that you want created, they will create it to the best of its ability or how you want it made. And you have paid for samples. To them, they still get paid to make the samples. You on the other hand, you've just wasted money on samples without like specifying anything. So you can either go to like your nearest mall and look up and find the materials used for the pieces, or you can just check online because they're more detailed. And obviously you don't copy it exactly because there's no point. You just play around with it. The dungaree, at first it was just another material, and obviously I'm like you can't mix the material you use for like sweatpants, for example, and material you use for denim. So I was just like, you know what? I'll probably put the picture up. That red part right there is a screen printing. No, it's not. Oh yeah, it is screen printing because there's direct to film, direct to garment, screen printing, and then others. But those are just the basic three that I decided to start off to know. And then obviously, because I think when it comes to wash, the screen printing has a better wash than direct to film or DTG. Because after a while, it does go off, and then you have angry customers, or yeah, you have angry customers saying, "Hey, I bought this like a month ago, and it's already starting to come out." So I feel like I can control this cheap better. The way to do this. send it to the manufacturer. Oh, in terms of apps, so for the thermal, I actually got messaged by a manufacturer on Instagram. So I'm going with him for the thermal, and then the rest are on Alibaba. Except I'm speaking to for the dungaree, I'm speaking to two on WhatsApp, and then yeah, when I have to send this to them, I'll be using Alibaba because yeah, that's where most manufacturers are. But you can also check because there's some local ones that you won't really find on Alibaba. They'll either reach out or you just end up finding them or crossing paths and then boom, because you won't pay as much when it comes to like shipping if it's local. I think my goal for this week is just to finish the pieces for the collections, just to have a rough sketch and everything while I communicate with manufacturers. I was actually supposed to do it on this video, but then I just prefer designing more. It just felt boring sitting on the phone. Yeah, so this is what you say, this is what I say. And then previous videos too, I did, well, put up kind of blueprints of what I normally say and the pieces, and then just work on getting the samples and working on everything else behind the scenes, basically. Just wanted to speak about how lately I've kind of been in a rut and I've just been trying to get out of it and trying to explain what has been happening lately. I did record it before while I was drawing, but it didn't come out the way I wanted it. It's not a thing of perfection. I'm just trying to learn to take pride in my work. Not even trying to learn. I just want to take pride in my work. So I was like, let me re-record this. So yeah, anyways, this so far I've just been learning to actually just try to be more present because most of the time where I've been in a rut, it's because of myself because I've been focusing more on the future than my present, and that kind of ties in with my faith because there was a lady in church. I was speaking to her about getting direction in life or just trying to figure out the direction with my life, and she says, well, she was just telling me how that I shouldn't really worry about my future and I should learn to be more present because most of my plans were based on my future, so everything revolved around how it's going to affect my future. So when those plans, or I don't say plans, when the doors closed, it kind of did have an effect on me. And over time, I wouldn't focus on the progress I have made. I was just focusing on more on the future. So that kind of put me in like a rut. So also another thing I did learn about just getting back on track. Because normally I was the type of person to be like, I'll wait till Monday and get back. Until last week, I was like, nah, okay, I won't lie. I saw a video when they spoke about just starting now, even if it's small. So I'm just trying to build the small habits now to build up to bigger habits. You know, when you have plans for the business or just in your own journey in life, so I kind of had like these big plans, and when they didn't like work out or doors did close or I lost out on opportunities, it took a toll on my faith, mostly my faith, my mental, and just myself too. But slowly, I'm just learning to be more present. It's kind of hard. That's something to not worry about the future or think about the future is kind of hard. I can't lie. So I'm just learning to just focus on what I do in the day, and yeah, just focus on building small habits. I'm just working on my faith too, just keeping the faith and trusting God throughout this time and trusting that his plan is better than any plan that I could have. And also I'm just learning to work on myself too. As I said before, just building small habits, just trying to stay consistent, even if it's something small, just trying to build that consistency rather than go on a phase where you grind, lock in, and then you just bah afterwards. Yes, yeah, I'm just learning right now to just control what I can control and control my perspective on what life throws at me and just taking one step at a time instead of trying to force myself to have everything figured out or because I think that's what I'm used to. I'm used to knowing what's going to happen tomorrow because in terms of school and work, you know that
as well. In terms of school, you know that I'm going to school for these days. I know what's gonna happen. With work, you know that you have to perform a certain task. You have what's the targets to meet and stuff. So I guess not doing both and just focusing on the business really, it's just unpredictable. Let me say that. So it really does test your faith a lot. And I'm just learning to control what I can control. And that's what I do. I mean, you can only control what you do in a day. So I'm just trying to build on that. I think that's the best advice I can give on getting out of a rut or getting out of that mindset. Just start off small and just start to build those habits. Start to build the small habits and then slowly by slowly you can increase. Because if you just like jump into it big or like tell yourself I'm going to straight lock in craziest journey ever, then obviously it won't last long because you're gonna burn out quickly. So yeah, I'm just also trying to get that burnout, get out of that mindset of working till you burn out. So yeah, that's where I am in life right now. Just take it one step at a time. Learning not to have the whole picture, but basically faith. Just learning to, it's building my faith really. Builds my faith and builds me as a person too. And just to realize that I've, from where I started till now, I've made a lot more progress than I have seen. As much as I could focus on what I haven't done, I can't just focus on the progress I've made and the progress I hopefully will make by the end of the year or in general, the progress I'll make in life. Something else the lady from church also told me is that you don't realize your change or the changes you've made with your life. Mostly other people do realize it, and still something I'm also trying to learn about myself, how much I have changed over time.
Right now, I'm just working on the final design for the crop denim jacket, and well, I thought it was barrel jeans. I mixed up the names. It's high waist. What's it called? Yeah, high waist, wide leg jeans. So yeah, that's kind of the fit that I'm trying to go for. That old 90s attire type of thing. So right now I'm just finishing up the design and the uh, tech pack that I'm gonna send to the manufacturer. Three new manufacturers I have been speaking to. So as much as I would have liked to have everything made with one manufacturer, I just know they specialize in certain things, so it's better to diversify your products. So yeah, right now just I'll probably put up a template somewhere. I'll just write it down and then upload it. The template that I normally use. Yeah, so anyways, with your tech pack for the crop jackets, the tech pack I've gotten with the jacket styles, a crop denim jacket with a full length sleeve length, full length. Material composition is denim, fabric is denim, but the fiber content is 90% cotton and 10% polyester. And I think the cross pattern I'm gonna also leave denim, but like a lighter wash. And I won't lie, at first I didn't know any of this. I was just gonna be like denim straights, 100% cotton. But so oh yeah, here are the notes that I got online that I've written, jot down, and I've just been learning as I went along. Made a few changes for what I want to have made. And yeah, so now I just need to work on the design, see how it looks, go online, and then send it to the manufacturers. Then the tech pack for the high waist, wide leg jeans. Same thing, except for the denim wash. They both dark washes. I'm going with the dark wash and like a black wash too. Fiber content, same thing. Material composition, same thing. The length, same thing. Pattern, same thing. It's just the size of the crosses. I was gonna go with 10, but I realized for a crop jacket it was gonna be big, so I was like, let me just go with 8 centimeters and see how it looks. So yeah, this is probably the last step I'm gonna do before I send to the manufacturers and then vet them based on a few questions. But for now, I just want to focus on samples, getting the samples, So based off their answers on the samples and the designs that they can make, that's all. Yeah, that's how I usually hit my manufacturers. So I already got two for each, and now it's three in total. And then depending on the answers, I'm gonna have one, and then like a substitute one just in case that's if the one can't provide. So yeah, let me work on this now.
Dang. Yesterday said that I rap a lot farther, the sun like it's less a lot more like a night. I used to smoking the gas a lot, I was just reading the scripture and cut like a knife. They used to tell me to grab the Glock, my God, he told me to preach, so I'm grabbing the mic. And grabbing the mic, what he do with it? I pray that God, cause he made me a fool with it.